Okay, welcome back to Landing the Moon. Okay, so get this. Starship Flight 13 finally flew on July 24th.
Third attempt, right?
Third attempt. And it deployed satellites this time. 20 Starlink V3s, Starship's first operational payload drop ever.
That's interesting. So the ship worked.
The ship worked great. Booster 20, not so much.
Wait, what happened?
Nailed the boostback burn, looked flawless, then lost the landing burn and slammed into the Gulf.
So, split result. One win, one crater.
Basically, yeah.
We're spending real time on that landing burn today because the engine count everyone's citing doesn't line up.
Oh, you're going to love this part. We're also getting into Ship 40's single Raptor relight in space. Tiny maneuver, huge implications for Artemis.
And I want to press on whether the FAA treats this the same way it treated the 52-day grounding back in May.
Plus, we're grading our own LC-30 predictions against what actually happened with those oxidizer turbopumps.
And closing with something falsifiable, does SBX even attempt a tower catch on Flight 14?
So let's start where it went sideways. Booster 20, the Gulf, and a landing burn nobody saw failing.
Walk me through what we actually know.
So the scorecard out of Starbase this week is 1 for 2, and the 1 is wild.
1 for 2. Walk me through the 1.
July 24th, 5:51 p.m. Central, Ship 40 lights all 33 Raptor 3 engines on Booster 20 and actually gets off the pad.
Third try, right?
Third try. There was the TO admission abort on the 16th, engines wouldn't light, then a weather scrub on the 23rd.
Persistent, at least.
And then, get this, Ship 40 deploys 20 Starlink V3 satellites on a suborbital path. First time Starship has ever released an operational payload. CNN called the flight Lucky 13.
Not a mass simulator, not a banana, an actual working satellite stack.
20 of them, designed to re-enter, which they did.
What happened to the ship after that?
So check this out. Ship 40 splashes down in the Indian Ocean, tips over like it usually does, and just keeps transmitting.
After it tips over?
NASA Spaceflight reported the ship stayed intact and kept sending data after it rolled, which let SpaceX pull imagery of the tiles and engines post-splashdown.
Useful test data, whether or not that was the plan.
Sure, the plan.
No, the booster.
Right, so Booster 20 nails the high-thrust part of the boostback burn, all 33 engines, textbook.
And then?
Then it loses the landing burn, hits the Gulf hard, no soft splashdown this time.
So a flawless upper stage deploy and a booster that face-planted into the water.
Face-planted is generous, but yeah.
I want to separate what got demonstrated from what got claimed in the press release. Payload deploy, real. Booster loss, also real. Both happened on the same flight.
Look at you refusing to pick a side.
I'm asking which one actually moves the needle for Artemis.
That's a whole different argument, because buried in this flight is a demo that barely made headlines, a single engine relight in space.
The one they skipped on Flight 12.
That one. Okay, so buried in that whole splashdown story, Ship 40 coasted about 27 minutes, then relit a single Raptor engine in space.
The demo Flight 12 skipped.
Exactly. That relight failed on Flight 12 after the vacuum engine shut down early. This time, one engine, one relight, clean.
One engine. Out of how many on the ship?
6 on Ship 40. But it's not about the count. It's about proving the plumbing works cold-soaked in vacuum. That's the whole ballgame for landing on the moon.
Walk me through why. Engine turns back on doesn't sound like a lunar milestone to me.
Because Artemis 3 needs Starship to land on the moon, then take off again. No relight, no ascent. Every trip to the surface assumes the engines restart after sitting in vacuum for days.
So this is step 1 of a long staircase.
3 steps removed minimum. Tech Times quoted Kent Chonacki, NASA's deputy manager for the Human Landing System program. His line, version 3 is what HLS is going to be based on.
Wait, this vehicle? The one that just lost a booster in the Gulf?
This one, same Raptor, same relight architecture NASA's banking the lunar lander on.
Okay, then let's do the arithmetic because that's where I get uneasy. What does the refueling chain actually look like?
Estimates floating around put it at 10 to 16 tanker flights for one lunar mission, just to fill the depot before HLS heads to the moon.
16 launches? For one landing?
And Space Policy Online flagged the real culprit on the high end, cryogenic boil-off, propellant warming and venting off at the depot faster than SpaceX can top it off.
So, if you need over a dozen flights bunched close together, what cadence does that require? Has anyone shown SpaceX can launch that fast back-to-back without a scrub?
Not yet. Not close. This flight alone took 3 attempts just to get off the pad.
Right. So one relight in a test flight is not the same as proving a fleet can refuel a depot on schedule.
Correct. It's necessary. It's nowhere near sufficient.
And the booster, the thing that just missed its landing burn, that's asking the same restart question just 30 miles up and minutes earlier.
Same physics, different consequence. Ship 40 gets a scorecard. Booster 20 gets a crater.
Which is exactly the tension I want to sit with going into the failure itself.
Shooting back to that relight talk, now the landing burn, because the numbers don't even agree.
Wait, what do you mean they don't agree?
Wikipedia's account has 10 of 13 engines relighting for the landing burn, and 2 of those shut down within seconds.
10 of 13.
Right, but Space.com's live coverage says it looked more like 5 engines still firing right at its splashdown.
That's a real gap between 5 and 10.
Yeah, and nobody's reconciled it. Both outlets were watching the same feed.
So we don't actually know the engine count. We know the water hit hard either way.
Dude, hard is an understatement. 10 engines, maybe 5. Either way, you're not landing softly with half your relights.
Okay, walk me back to May 27th because that's where this actually starts.
Right, Flight 12's booster loss. The mishap report closed July 13th, 52 days grounded.
And what did it find?
Heat effects on engine hardware plus bad alarm thresholds that were tripping engines that didn't need to trip.
So SpaceX flew 4 corrective actions on Booster 20 for exactly that problem.
And boostback worked. Clean separation, clean burn back toward the coast.
But the landing burn didn't. So did the fixes work or not?
Honestly, different question. The failure moved downstream. It didn't disappear.
That's the regulatory piece I want pressed. Same booster lost twice in 2 flights.
And a totally different response.
Walk me through that gap. Flight 12 got a full FAA mishap investigation.
NASA spaceflight reports the FAA isn't requiring one for Flight 13.
So losing a booster on ascent gets 52 days grounded, but losing it on landing gets a shrug.
Right. That's basically the read, yeah.
What's the actual distinction? Public safety versus hardware performance.
That's the split. Ascent failures threaten people on the ground. Landing failures mostly threaten SpaceX's own hardware.
Dry distinction if you're the one building the rocket.
Fair, but it means Booster 21 isn't sitting on a regulatory clock this time.
Which changes the whole cadence fight we were having 2 episodes back.
Oh, we're absolutely circling back to that abort call. With the FAA question parked, let's settle the other one. Wikipedia's write-up on the July 16th abort points to 6 Raptors whose oxidizer turbopumps never spun up to flight speed.
6, not the 29 of 33 that got quoted right after the scrub.
Same sources, same day, but 6 turbopumps failing to spool up before liftoff is pretty specific.
So let's go back to LC-30. You said that abort proved the flight software works.
Here we go.
I mean, what's that claim resting on? The computer caught a fault before ignition, sure, but that's the 4th time we're talking about engines that won't start clean.
Fine, I'll grade myself. I was right, the abort logic did its job. I was wrong calling it isolated. 6 turbopumps failing together is a pattern.
My call was the mirror image. Repeated start failures as the real signal. Mostly holds up.
Mostly.
I didn't expect them flying the full stack again 8 days later with a clean liftoff.
Right.
The fix worked at least once.
Once. So what actually proves it's fixed?
3 straight flights, ascent, booster relight, ship relight with 0 engine start anomalies anywhere in that chain.
I'd add this. Same turbopump supplier, same design, still causing trouble on Flight 14, then it wasn't fixed.
It was covered up.
Right, and one good flight doesn't clear anybody. SpaceX, the FAA, or us for calling it too early.
Speak for yourself.
Fair, but the schedule doesn't grade on effort, it grades on dates.
And NASA's got a whole new set of dates of its own now after February's restructuring.
Building on that restructuring flag, let's talk about what CSIS actually laid out in February.
Oh boy, hit me. CSIS reports NASA turned Artemis 3 into a low Earth orbit lander and spacesuit demo targeting mid-2027. The actual crewed moon landing? That's Artemis 4, no earlier than 2028.
No earlier than is doing a lot of lifting in that sense.
Same restructuring canceled the exploration upper stage all right, paused Gateway after roughly $4.4 billion already under contract, and floated a $20 billion lunar surface base spread over 7 years.
Wait, they paused Gateway after spending $4.4 billion on it?
That's the number, yeah.
Cool.
And Astronomy.com flags something sharper. If Starship keeps slipping, NASA could lean on Blue Moon's Blue Moon Mark II for that 2028 attempt.
A second lander provider. Everyone's framing that as a fix.
You don't buy it?
I don't buy it as a fix. It's a second schedule to miss, not an insurance against the first one.
Walk me through that.
Blue Moon Mark II hasn't flown crew, hasn't done an uncrewed landing, nothing. You're not de-risking Artemis. You're doubling the number of unproven vehicles NASA's betting the mission on.
CNBC put Starship spending north of $15 billion already. That's the sunk cost pulling against switching horses.
Right, so nobody actually walks away from Starship. They just add Blue Origin on top and call it redundancy.
Or call it a second delay with better PR.
That's the one.
So put a stake in the ground. Artemis 4, crewed landing. Your date?
I'll say 2030, and I'll be an optimist saying it.
I'm not touching a year yet, but Flight 14 is coming fast, and that one's got its own reckoning.
Okay, closing ritual. Dated calls, no hedging. Flight 14, does SpaceX go for a tower catch?
I'll go first. No catch. Ship 41 splashes down again. Booster 21 attempts the tower by September 15th.
I'll top that. Full catch attempt on both stages flying before Labor Day, September 7th.
Walk me through why the FAA moves that fast after grounding them twice already.
Flight 13 didn't trigger another 52-day pause. That's the tell. The agency's loosening up. Plus, NASAspaceflight.com flags Ship 40's clean flight as raising catch potential for the next mission.
I read that too, but I'm not sold. My call bets the opposite. The FAA opens a formal review into Booster 20's landing burn, and it drags into October before Flight 14 even gets a date.
So next month, we're grading two completely different timelines.
On the record, both of us.
And if Flight 14 slips past October, I'm officially renaming it 14th Time's the Charm.
Don't jinx it.
Too late. See you next month for the scorecard. Okay, before we let you go, Flight 14 predictions. Dated, on record.
So we can grade ourselves properly this time.
Like LC-30, yeah. All right, I say SpaceX attempts the tower catch on Booster 21 by September 15th, and they pull it off.
Bold. I'll take the other side of that. My call, the FAA doesn't close out the Booster 20 landing burn investigation before October 1st. The relight problem is quieter than the abort, but it's not simple.
We'll hold each other to it.
We will.
And that Ship 40 relight, still the one number that actually matters for Artemis 4.
Agreed. Everything else is noise until that's repeatable.
If this helped you follow Artemis, send it to someone still confused about why we're going back to the moon.
Subscribe, and we'll see you back here to check the math.
Landing the moon, out.